It's 2 a.m. You're lying in bed, wide awake, doing the math again in your head. Rent. Car payment. That credit card you've been avoiding opening. And somewhere on your phone, another woman your age just posted her third vacation photo this year, and you genuinely cannot figure out how she's doing it. You're not lazy. You're not careless. You work. You work hard. And somehow, every single month, the money runs out before the month does. Here's what nobody is saying out loud: you don't have a spending problem. You have a system problem. And those are two completely different things. A spending problem is fixed with willpower. A system problem is fixed with architecture. Willpower is why every budget you've ever tried lasted 3 weeks and then quietly died. What I'm going to walk you through today is a 13-week sequence, not a challenge, not a mindset reset, a sequence that, if you actually follow it, makes staying broke harder than building wealth. Not because it's magic. Because it removes you from the equation. And I mean that in the best possible way. By the end of this video, you're going to understand something that most women never get told: the financial system was not designed with you in mind, but you can build your own. And I'm going to show you exactly how, week by week, with real numbers. Stay until the end, because the final numbers from following this system are going to genuinely shock you. Most people who watch the whole thing won't actually do it. The ones who do, they look back a year later and can't believe they waited this long. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Maya is 38. She lives in a mid-sized city, takes home about $3,600 a month after taxes, has $11,000 in credit card debt, $500 in savings, and a ritual she performs every Sunday night, staring at her bank account and making promises she means but never keeps. Maya is not a cautionary tale. Maya is statistically normal for women her age in America in 2026. And the reason Maya can't get ahead isn't discipline. It's not laziness. It's not even income, yet. It's that she's been handed the wrong tools her entire life. Most financial advice was written by men, for men, at a time when women weren't even allowed to open their own bank accounts. That was 1974. 52 years ago. The framework never got updated. But you can update yours. Starting right now. Week 1 is the hardest week, not because it requires effort, but because it requires honesty. You are going to track every single dollar that leaves your account for 7 days. Every coffee. Every grocery run. Every, "it was only $12" moment that somehow adds up to $200. You don't change anything yet. You just look. Research from the Journal of Financial Planning found that people who track their spending save about 20% more than those who don't. Not because tracking is magic, but because most overspending happens in a fog. Maya did this exercise and found she was spending $380 a month on food delivery. She would have guessed $100. That's $4,560 a year on food she didn't even remember eating. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. Week 1 is about removing the blindfold. Week 2 is about something nobody in finance wants to talk about, because it's not about money. It's about psychology. The algorithm on your phone is not neutral. It is engineered, specifically, deliberately engineered, to make you feel like you are falling behind. Because people who feel behind buy things to catch up. That is the business model. Research in the Journal of Consumer Research found that people who regularly compare themselves to others on social media are 60% more likely to go into debt. 60%. So this week, you unfollow or mute every account that makes you feel financially less than. Influencers. Highlight real friends. Anyone whose content makes that quiet voice in your head say, "I should be further along by now." This isn't about insecurity. This is about taking your attention back from a machine that profits off your dissatisfaction. Maya unfollowed 47 accounts. Her impulse spending dropped in the first week. Not because of willpower, because the trigger was gone. Most financial advice tells you to save 3 to 6 months of expenses before you do anything else. I'm going to tell you something different. Start with $1,000. Just $1,000. In a separate account your debit card isn't connected to. Here's why. The Federal Reserve found that roughly 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing. When you're one car repair away from credit card debt, your brain is in constant low-grade survival mode. And a survival mode brain makes terrible financial decisions, not because you're irresponsible, but because your nervous system is prioritizing right now over 10 years from now. $1,000 switches that off. Maya got there in 6 weeks. She sold $420 worth of things she hadn't touched in 2 years, an old phone, kitchen gadgets, clothes with tags still on. And she redirected 2 months of her food delivery spending. Done. $1,000 in the account. The Sunday night panic? Still there. But quieter. Finally, quieter. Here is the single habit that separates people who build wealth from people who intend to build wealth. Pay yourself first. Automatically. Open a savings or investment account that isn't your checking account. Set up an automatic transfer for the day after payday. 5%, 8%, 10%, the exact number matters less than the automation. A study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that people who automate savings save 5 to 15% more than people who rely on willpower. Why? Because by the end of a normal day, your brain has made hundreds of micro-decisions and it is tired. Tired brains choose easy. Easy is almost never saving. Automation removes the decision entirely. The money moves before you ever see it. Within 90 days, you stop noticing it's gone. But your account balance doesn't lie. Maya started at 8%. That's $288 a month she never touched. In 3 months, her standard of living hadn't changed. But she had thousands in savings she'd never had before. Week 5 is where we talk about income. Not because nothing else matters until now, but because without a foundation, extra income just funds extra chaos. Here's the move: pick one skill the market is actually paying for right now. Not the thing you're passionate about. Not a side hustle you saw on TikTok. One skill with a real market. In 2026, that list includes video editing, copywriting, email marketing, social media management, web design, bookkeeping, virtual assistants. Not glamorous. Extremely in demand. Florida State University research suggests roughly 50 hours of focused practice is enough to become genuinely competent at a new skill. That's 90 minutes a day for about 5 weeks. Most people never reach that threshold because they spread themselves thin across 4 ideas and go deep on none of them. Pick one. Go deep. And here's what nobody tells women especially: you don't have to be an expert to start charging. You have to be competent and honest about where you are. Your first clients don't want perfection, they want reliability and communication, which most freelancers don't deliver. Maya was editing short-form video content for small businesses within 90 days. An extra $650 a month. $7,800 a year. From a skill she did not own 12 weeks earlier. $11,000 in credit card debt at 23% interest means Maya is paying over $2,500 a year just in interest. That money is not building anything. It is disappearing. The method that kills debt fastest is called the debt avalanche. You list every debt by interest rate, highest to lowest. You make minimums on everything. You throw every extra dollar at the highest rate debt first. When that one dies, you take every dollar you were sending to it and add it to the next one. The momentum builds. The avalanche grows. Mathematically, paying off a 23% credit card is equivalent to earning a guaranteed 23% investment return. No index fund, no crypto play, nothing will reliably beat that. Your debt is your highest return investment right now. Maya killed her first card by week 10. When she logged into her account and saw a zero balance for the first time in 4 years, she cried. That's not a small thing. That is your nervous system understanding, for the first time in years, that you are moving forward. 45% of Americans have some form of side income. Among those who do, Bankrate found the average monthly earnings are $1,122. That's over $13,000 a year. For most women in their 30s and 40s, that number is the entire difference between treading water and actually pulling ahead. A second income stream is not a passion project. It's a structured, deliberate cash flow source, built from skills you already have or just developed, that exists in addition to your job. Test it small. One client. One product. One offer. If it earns money, double down. If it doesn't, pivot and try the next thing. Every dollar from your second income stream goes directly to your goals. Not a vacation. Not new things. Rocket fuel. That is its only job until you are free. Maya took the video editing skill she built in week 5 and turned it into a structured service. Within 60 days she had 3 recurring clients. The income wasn't life-changing yet. But it was hers, and it was growing. This is the week the machine starts producing on its own. Fidelity's research found that people who start investing in their 20s end up with about 50% more wealth at retirement than people who start in their 30s, with the exact same monthly contribution. The difference is not skill or income. It is time. Compound interest is patient in a way that humans are not. If your employer offers a 401k match, contribute at least enough to capture it. That match is free money. Leaving it on the table is one of the most expensive decisions a working person makes. No 401k. Open a Roth IRA. Contribute to low-cost index funds. Not individual stocks. Not whatever is trending on social media this week. Index funds. Boring, diversified, and historically the best bet for people who don't want to spend their lives watching stock tickers. Here is the number you need to hold on to. $200 a month invested at 25, at historical market averages, becomes $1.3 million by 65. Wait until 35. Same $200 a month becomes $542,000. That is a $758,000 difference, produced by nothing but starting earlier. Maya opened her Roth IRA on a Tuesday night. It took 11 minutes. She contributed $150 her first month. It wasn't the number she wanted to start with. But it was a start, and in investing, starting is almost everything. Most people don't lose wealth through catastrophe. They lose it slowly, through 3 invisible leaks. Leak 1, lifestyle inflation. The Journal of Economic Psychology found that for every dollar of income increase, spending increases by about 90%. Most raises disappear within months. The fix: when you get a raise, you pretend it didn't happen. You live on the old income and funnel the difference directly into savings and investments. Leak 2, the wrong insurance. You need health insurance. Car insurance. Renters or homeowners insurance. If anyone depends on your income, term life insurance, which is simple, affordable, and straightforward. What you don't need, whole life insurance dressed up as an investment. Extended warranties that statistically never pay out. Phone insurance on a phone you could replace yourself. Leak 3, emotional spending. A creditcards.com study found 49% of Americans admit to impulse purchases they later regret. The fix is the 48-hour rule. Anything non-essential, you wait 2 days. Most of the time the urge dissolves, because it was never really about the thing. It was about wanting to feel something. Maya put the 48-hour rule into practice and caught herself 3 times in the first week alone. 3 purchases she would have made. 3 she didn't. Over a month, that added up to $340 she kept. Housing, transportation, and food eat 60 to 70% of the average American's income according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. On housing, if you're spending more than 28% of your take-home on rent or a mortgage, that is the first thing to address. Options include getting a roommate, negotiating rent at renewal, which most renters never even attempt, or house hacking by renting a spare room. On transportation, the average new car payment in America has now crossed $700 a month. Add insurance, gas, and maintenance, and most households spend $12,000 to $15,000 a year on getting around. A reliable used car you actually own is not a downgrade. It is a wealth strategy. On food, a Visa study found millennials spend an average of $174 a month on coffee alone. $174. Invested instead at 10% over 30 years, that compounds to roughly $400,000. Nobody is saying never enjoy a coffee. But if you've never seen that number written down, it's worth sitting with. Maya negotiated her rent down by $75 a month at renewal, simply by asking. Her landlord said yes. That's $900 a year she reclaimed with a single conversation she almost didn't have. Here is the shift that separates people who build wealth slowly from people who eventually accelerate it. Your time is finite. You have 24 hours a day and a limited number of them to sell. But value is not finite. Something you create once can serve thousands of people. A guide, a template, a course, a workshop, a YouTube channel, a productized service, these are called leverage, and they don't require you to be a tech founder to access them. The e-learning industry alone is worth over $300 billion in 2026. If you know something useful, and you do, someone somewhere is willing to pay to learn it from you. This isn't about going viral. It's about building one small asset that earns while you sleep. One thing. That's how the side income from week 7 evolves into something that doesn't require your hours to run. Maya packaged her video editing process into a simple online guide. She listed it for $27. In the first month, 31 people bought it. That's $837 from something she built once, in a weekend. Harvard-affiliated research has long suggested that we become roughly the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. This is not a motivational quote. This is behavioral economics. If the people closest to you are financially stuck, financially cynical, or financially avoidant, you will absorb those patterns whether you intend to or not. Not because they're bad people. Because behavior is contagious. This week, you don't cut people off. But you do get intentional about who you are learning from. Find one financial community, online or in person, of women who are building. Not performing wealth. Actually building it. Listen more than you talk. Let their habits become your normal. Maya joined a free online community of women focused on debt freedom. Within 3 months, she told herself the biggest change wasn't her account balance. It was that she'd stopped feeling alone in it. And that alone made her more consistent than any app or spreadsheet ever had. 13 weeks from where Maya started. Food delivery spending redirected, $380 a month back in her pocket. $1,000 emergency buffer, built. Automated savings at 8%, $288 a month moving without a single decision. Side income from video editing and her digital guide, $1,487 a month, and growing. First credit card, dead. Zero balance. First investments in a Roth IRA, started. Compounding. In 13 weeks, Maya went from $500 in savings and $11,000 in debt to a financial system that is running itself, with more income, less debt, and a timeline to being completely debt-free in under 18 months. She didn't get a new job. She didn't win anything. She didn't get lucky. She installed a machine. And the machine runs whether she feels motivated on any given Tuesday or not. That's the point. That was always the point. Wealth isn't a feeling. It's a structure. And now you know how to build yours. If this video helped you, share it with one woman in your life who needs to hear it. Not because it helps the channel, because it might genuinely change her year. And if you're ready for the next step, the next video is right here. We'll see you there.